Good morning, everyone. This is Carl Griffith from Graybar. I'm the Emerging Technologies Director here, who's primarily is responsible for the data center practice here at Graybar, but also get involved with an awful lot of the marketing here at Graybar, and I want to thank you for joining our webinar today. Before we get started with our webinar, our G2 Talk webinar, I'd like to mention a couple of things. Number one, if you're one of the first 50 people to be online today, and you stay with us through the end of the presentation, we're going to send you an email. And in that email, you'll see a certificate for a cup of coffee at a national coffee chain. So you can take that email and exchange it for a cup of coffee as soon as the webinar is, G2 Talk webinar is over. The second thing I wanted to mention is this webinar will be archived. So if you would like to see it again, or you would like to share it with a colleague or another company or another person, that'd be great. You can do that by going up to the Graybar.com website, look for the G2 Talk webinar logo and click on archive, and it'll take you directly to the archive where you can hear this presentation again. Lastly, I want to mention too that there'll be a Q&A at the end of this webinar, so you'll be able to ask questions. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little button there for Q&A. That will open a dialog box, and you can type your question into that dialog box. And at the end of our presentation, we'll go through those questions, and we'll answer as many of them as time will permit us to do. Before we get started, though, I'd like to talk a little bit about Graybar. Part of what Graybar likes to do is we like to help our customers power, network, and secure their facilities with speed, intelligence, and efficiency. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about powering facilities and how we can be more efficient doing that and speed up the process a little bit. So this hits exactly the points that we like to talk about when we're communicating with you. We're all about buildings. We like to build buildings. We like to maintain buildings, and we like to renovate buildings, and we help our customers do that. We help our customers build, maintain, and renovate their buildings. Another thing that we like to do, and this is the most important goal that we have, is our goal is we want to help our customers complete their projects on time and on budget. And this presentation that we have today is going to be all about that, about helping our customers complete their projects on time and under budget. I'd like to take the opportunity now to introduce you to Mel Meineke. He's the Strategic Account Manager in North America for a company called ServiceWire. And Mel is a sales and marketing executive, and he's been with ServiceWire for over 30 years in the electrical industry. And he's been with ServiceWire for quite some time. And we're going to talk about one of the products that ServiceWire has today, and we're looking forward to getting the information from Mel. Mel's a graduate of the University of Dayton. He's a fellow Ohioan, as I am, and he is working for a leading electrical manufacturer in various positions throughout his career. So he's been in sales, he's been in product marketing and product management, and then he worked for distribution for a while, both regionally, nationally, and globally in distribution. But now he's in ServiceWire, and he's servicing lots of different markets, whether they be OEM or MRO, utility, government, construction, etc., industrial. Mel is a subject matter expert when it comes to the electrical power distribution business, and we're going to hear from Mel today about a product called ServicePlex. So without any further ado, I would like to pass the baton on to Mel, and we look forward to your presentation today. Thank you for joining us, Mel.
Thank you, Carl. We want to give a big welcome and shout out to all the Graybar employees and, more importantly, all the customers to this Twist and Save Pull Ahead webinar. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to demonstrate an alternative to parallel wiring that offers three things: better engineering, easier installation, and significant, and I underline the word significant, cost savings over conventional methods. Graybar has many, many years of experience with ServicePlex and wire management, whether it's a small, medium, or large project like a data center. Graybar has been there. They've done this many, many times, so you're in very capable hands. ServiceWire is a privately held 48-year-old company that supplies a broad range of copper products, including XHHW. We manufacture more of that than anyone in the United States. We also do tray, armored cables, low smoke, zero halogen. We have a patented service drive system. We operate 3 plants and distribution facilities in 3 time zones, West Virginia, Houston, and Phoenix, which means that we have very, very quick turnaround time. We provide stock to Graybar, same day, next day delivery. We offer 24/7 emergency service. We have ISO certification at all 3 plants, have had for many years. Very extensive quality processes. We test everything, as I'll mention, twice before we ship it. All of our products qualify for stimulus contracts, are dual-rated UL and CSA. What is ServicePlex? ServicePlex, to me, is the next generation of wire management. It's much easier to pull than singles, offers labor savings over what we call traditional methods. Wiring hasn't changed a lot until lately. This product is a decade old. The very first project was an airport in Miami, Florida. We offer this in XHHW and XLP, which is much superior to THHN, which we'll cover. Another thing that I like about this product is once a contractor tries it, and we have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials, they always come back because it's proven. It saves them time, it saves them money. There's 3 advantages, as I mentioned earlier: better engineering, ease of installation, and cost savings. We're going to go into each one in a little more detail and explain that. First one, better engineering. This product is completely built to order. It's custom. So if you have exact voltage configurations, color configurations, different size grounds or oversized neutrals or multiples, we can build that with a tolerance of plus or minus 10%, whatever you require. We build it, as I said, with XH or XLP USC, as well as bare grounds if desired. We also manufacture a 400 hertz cable, which is used extensively in airport grounding systems. We can put multiple runs of the same construction on one reel. We call that flagging. So you have one setup with the jack stands. You could have 6, 8, 10 pulls off that one reel, which makes it even more of a labor saver. We build odd ground sizes in. In a data center, you have multiple voltage configurations. Oversized neutrals is one example. This product is perfect for that. We have very specific colors, 13 to be exact, which inspectors like. If it's laid in cable tray, you can easily identify the different voltage configurations. It is factory tested, as we mentioned, so you're getting it tested twice, so the chance of a nicked cable or anything else is very, very slim. Another advantage is the material, our insulation. We do not manufacture THHN for the following reasons. If you look at the insulation thickness, you can see the differentials between X in the shaded column and THHN on the far right. If you look at the insulation resistance, much better. Crush test, very, very different. Our product is a thermoset which mechanically and electrically exceeds thermoplastic, which is THHN, which is a PVC-based product. We have very low temperature, operating temperature parameters, much better than THHN. You've got minus 40 degree for X compared to minus 10, which is about 14 degrees Fahrenheit for THHN. When it gets to that temperature, minus 10, PVC will start to crack and expose the copper. XH is more rugged than PVC. It's much more difficult to damage. It's 5 times the crush test as we show here. Also, PVC or THHN, when it ignites, that would happen, tends to propagate. The emissions created, carbon monoxide or dioxide, can actually kill you. So XH, that is not the case. The fire will not propagate. If you look at 14 to 750, which is what we manufacture, and you look at the nominal OD and the percent difference, this is where X has a cost. If you look at the parameters on costing or pricing of product, the copper content is the same. The difference is the insulation. When you get to number 4, it starts getting equivalent or less than THHN in these sizes. Therefore, the material is compatible, so our pricing is equal and in some cases lower than THHN building wire. The second major point of this product is ease of installation. If you look at the picture on the right, typical paralleling reel, when you pull that on the job site, it has a tendency to come unravel. And typically the grounds are not integral into that product like they are with the ServicePlex on the bottom. You have less folks required to manage this, if you will. There's a lower coefficient of friction. Only one cable is touching the conduit as it bends or pulls through your sweeps or down the conduit. So if you have one reel on a job site versus a compartmental reel, you have a lot less reels to deal with. Again, we can flag. I want to show you a picture of this product being installed. Here you have a Kellum's grip being taped. You got one man pulling. Instead of 3 or 4, a pusher, somebody managing the ground, or a manual feed, you can do this with one person. On tray cable, you're pulling one conductor at a time. With Plex, you're pulling multiples with one pull. This product is used extensively in conduit and in tray. We have contractors reporting labor savings up and actually over 70%. We put 50% in our literature because that seems to be the standard. This is, I guess, one of the things that I like about it. The fill rate is calculated at 53%. The National Electrical Code considers this a single conductor, no matter if it's 2 or 19 cables plexed. So your conduit fill rate is actually 53% versus 40% for single conductors. So you always would have the same conduit size, maybe smaller in certain situations. One of the things that we see this product used quite a bit for is retrofit. If you have existing conduit in a building or a duct bank, and you want to increase your load, your amperage, you pull out the old conduit, you have a larger fill rate potential with Plex, including the ground, or you can leave it out if you like, but that does offer a significant advantage. This actually shows the code book, Table 9, illustrating 52% versus 40 for 2 or more conductors that are parallel or singles, if you will. Another advantage of ServicePlex is cost saving. There's less scrap because it is built to order. You don't have to typically have extra and cut back or cut that off to terminate. A lot of contractors say that saves them a lot of money. Shifts in exact lengths, we talked about that. Tolerance of 0 to 10%. eliminates scrap as well as the need to over-order. We invoice for exact linear footages. There is a twist loss when it's plexed. We cover that. Flagging, we talked about putting multiple pulls on one reel. Big advantage, big labor saver. And again, everything is factory tested 2 times. Fewer reels on site. Some jobs that are tight with the space constraints. That it's important. It matters. Any way you cut it, I call it a green initiative. Something else that we do, that we have started to do about 2 months ago, is to install pulling eyes. We've had so many customers ask us for this. We decided to do it. Graybar has extensive expertise in their service centers with pulling eyes. It's up to you, the customer, which way you want to do it. They're available in every size. We see contractors, some prefer, some like to do it on site, and some don't. We have a Q&A. I want to turn that over to Carl. Carl,
Mel, I want to thank you for coming in today and being with us. We do want to take some questions, and some questions have come in, and I'm fairly familiar with ServicePlex because I've had the opportunity to see it several times. So I've got a couple questions of my own that I would like to ask, and then again, I wanted to remind everybody that all they have to do is hit the Q&A button, and they can type a question in, and we'll get to it. So the first one has to do with lead times, Mel. How long does it take for you to manufacture a product, and how quickly can we get it once we order it from you and get it on the job site? So what kind of lead times do you all need?
Great question. Typically that's the most commonly asked. Our standard product is shipped same day or next day. Our minimum order is $400. Flex orders are shipped in 2 to 3 days because we stock the singles, so we're building the order. Very quick turnaround.
All right, great. Thank you. Jorge asked this question, and he'd like to know, is there a minimum cut size?
Yes. We have the following minimum. 14 through 3/0 is 250 feet, which is very minimal, and 4/0 through 750, it's 150 feet minimum. We see
okay,
this product.
Could you go over that one more? Go over those numbers one more time for us, please.
Sure. 14 through 3/0 is 250 feet minimum. 4/0 through 750 is 150 feet minimum. We see this product used on small, medium, and large projects, not only circuit size, but very large 500, 600, 750 feeder sizes. So we're willing to do whatever the customer wants.
Mel, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to a picture in your presentation that was on slide 15, and I'm going to push it back to the audience right now because there's a couple questions that I think are important to answer here, and I wanted to go over them. If we take a look at the construction of ServicePlex, we see how those conductors are kind of twisted together. And you mentioned in your presentation that actually, when you're pulling this through a conduit, only one conductor is in contact with the conduit in any particular space within that conduit. Therefore, we have less friction with this product than we do if we're pulling long parallels that are side by side. Can this be used without lubes, or are you telling us that it can be used without lubes because of less friction, or do you still recommend that we lube the cable when we pull it?
We have had contractors pull smaller size without lube. This jacket, XH, as well as THHN, has silicone in it. So it is a very smooth jacket, but we do recommend lube on large feeder pulls. Most contractors will use lube no matter what, just for safety, and it just pulls easier. There's a lot less sidewall pressure without the ground being fed distinctly as is done with typical parallels. So when you have that cable twisted flex together and you're going through long sweeps to a pull box or whatever, or a long run, we have proven that this offers a superior what I call pull and much less sidewall pressure. So those are some of the key advantages. Thanks.
And then in the presentation, we see this picture right here, and we're looking at the conductor sizes appear to be pretty uniform, about the same size. But how many singles can be plexed together, and what about conductor sizes? Can there be multiple conductor sizes? I mean, can the ground be, a whole lot bigger than the power cabling conductor, and can they be, and how many can be put together? Tell us a little bit about the construction and what kind of variations we can have in this custom product.
We can flex 19 conductors anywhere from 14 to 750, which would include a bare or other colored ground, say it's purple, gray, whatever. It can be oversized 2 times, 3 times, can have multiples. We can flex up to 5 750s. That's a distinct set, but 19 other variations any size. So like on a data center where you have multiple voltage configurations and oversized neutrals, this is a perfect build-to-order, no-scrap product for that type of application. Or a hospital, or a school, or wastewater, any industrial area where you're going to direct vary product and expose to temperature, moisture, oil, gas, sunlight, anything like that.
Great. Hey, while we're talking here, Mel, I know you offered this earlier, and I'm going to make sure our audience gets a chance to respond to this. If anybody on this webinar, on this G2 Talk webinar, would like a sample of this ServicePlex product, we can get one sent to you. So we can send you a sample of the product. You can feel it and touch it and look at it. Get in touch with your Graybar person and have a conversation about it. But we wanted to make sure you could get a sample. So if you would like a sample of the ServicePlex product, all you need to do is go into that Q&A box, that mark at the bottom of your screen, open that up and type the word sample. Just type the word sample in there. We know who you are. You had to register, so we know how to get in touch with you via email or phone number to get in touch with you. So just type the word sample in the Q&A box, and we'll send you a sample of the cable. So I'll remind you one more time before we go. I had a question about, what is this, Mel?
I said I'd also like to offer the customers on the webinar, if there's enough interest and you feel that you'd like to come visit the factory and see this product made and you have a project in mind, contact your local Graybar salesperson and they'll get in touch with me or the rest of the team at ServiceWire, and we'll arrange that.
All right, so if somebody's working on a complex project or an extensive project, well, not really. I guess it could be smaller or larger, but they would like to see the product, how it's constructed, before they specify it, and you could go down, they could come down to your plant and actually see it being made. Is that the offer?
That is the offer. We've had many contractors come visit us, and they're very, they come away with a whole different understanding of what we actually can do when you see it. So yes, that's the offer.
Great. Well, that's cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. The other question I have is about the flagging. You mentioned in your presentation about flagging. And I'm assuming that these are cuts on different reels, on the same reel that are of different lengths based upon the specification. I'd like to know a little bit about how that process works and how the next pull, once you take the first one off the reel and the next pull comes up, how is it labeled or marked so we know exactly what to do with it when we're on the job site?
Great question. If it's the same configuration, let's say you have 8 pulls of 503 with the ground, and they're all, well, they could be varying lengths. So you've got 4 at 200 feet and the other 4 at 300 feet. We're going to flag or mark that portion where it's to be cut So you're pulling it, you cut it, pull it, cut it, pull it, cut it. We can actually, we can also wrap individual pulls on a reel of different sizes if required. We typically wouldn't put pulling heads on in that situation because you don't want to abrade the jackets in shipment. The other thing that I didn't mention is everything that we ship is on heavy-duty reels, nailed down with 4x4s and strapped, and as a special protective honeycomb wrapping, and we ship every reel in the world with digital photographs, with a bill of lading, the product inside the truck, or if it's a flatbed on the truck, so you have documentation of that product from Graybar coming to your job site.
Great. Thanks for explaining that, Mel. I really appreciate it. Leo has this question. He wants to know, and this goes right back to what you were talking about, the reel sizes and the weight, et cetera. He'd like to know, is there a maximum length or weight to the product?
The only limitation that we have, besides, say, a 120-inch steel reel, is the forklift capacity that the contractor has on the job site. Typically, we can ship a reel that would weigh 20,000 pounds, and the Plex cable, obviously the length depends upon the Plex and what's in it, the constitution, but we could ship a very large steel reel that weighed 20,000 pounds if you had a forklift to handle it, but that's typically not the case. So, that's the limitation, the forklift.
Okay. All right, so the limitation would be in the material handling equipment, et cetera. That's great. Thank you for that. Tom asked a question, and they would like to know, do you make a product that can be direct buried?
XHHW at a minus 40 degrees C, being sunlight, gas, oil resistant, yes, that can be direct buried. That's one of the major advantages over THHN.
Great. Thank you for that. People are asking, there's several questions that come in that are asking about the sample offer. Again, if you'd like a sample of the product, if you just type sample into Q&A, we'll send it to you. But they're wanting to know whether there'll be some literature that will go along with the sample, and the answer to that is yes. We'll make sure that some literature goes along with that. So just type the word sample, and we'll send it to you with the literature. Let's see, we got a question that came in from Brandon. He'd like to know, do you number the wire for the footage on the reel, and how much is left on the reel? So do you do some foot markage on the product, or can it be done?
All singles are sequentially marked every 2 feet. We typically measure plexed assemblies with a laser counter or a manual count, but they are sequentially marked.
All right. Great. There's been a question that came in and that asked about Graybar stocking this material. That's a question that you'll have to have with your local Graybar branch. There's going to be a lot of factors involved about repeating that and et cetera. So, Mark, do you have some information you want to provide about stocking?
We're currently stocking in our Minnesota Service Center, MNSC. We do have stock in there in a number of sizes, but for details, contact your local Graybar representative, and they should be able to help you out.
All right, great. So stay in touch with Graybar, and we can work with you to arrange for stock if it makes sense. So make sure you stay in touch with them.
I'd like to throw this out. If you have a project where you think you'd like to try this, and you want a quote, please contact your Graybar salesperson, and we will, be more than happy to do that for you.
All right, Mel, do you have any, in your literature or materials, do you have any kind of case studies or testimonials from contractors or other folks that have used the material?
We have testimonials from various contractors in our literature. We have hundreds of letters from large, medium, small contractors across the country, owners, project managers, where they've used this product, saved significant time, which is money. There's two ways that we see contractors approach the cost savings. You either build it in and use it as a competitive advantage in your bid out to the end user, or it's an internal cost savings. But it is significant, it's proven, so we do have a lot of testimonials, and we'd be happy to share those with a particular individual or contractor if they so choose.
Great. Well, Mel, I don't see any other questions in the dialogue boxes here, so as I rolled through, so I want to thank you for the time that you gave us today. The information was really spot on. It helps us help our customers meet their objectives of reducing their cost on the job and reducing labor costs. That's a great thing, especially if that's what we're about, which is helping our customers complete their projects on time and on budget. I wanted to remind the first 50 people that were online, you're going to get an email from us and for a cup of coffee, and that's our gift to you, and we hope you enjoy that when you take it to your local coffee or your national coffee chain that's in your town probably. We wanted to remind everybody that the presentation that you got today is archived, so you can go back to graybar.com, look for the G2 Talk logo on the home screen of graybar.com, click the archive, and you can have that presentation and share it and look at it later. There is one more question come in about access to these case studies. All you got to do is get in touch with your Graybar representative, and we'll go ahead and arrange for a case study to get to you. And if you want to just type case study in the dialog box, we'll send you a specific case study, and we'll go ahead and send that to you. So, all right. So that's it for today. Thank you, Mel. We appreciate your time today and for being part of our G2 Talk webinar series. Stay in touch with us here at Graybar, and we'll help you with your next project and try to reduce as much cost as we can. Have a great day. We've enjoyed having you online. Thank you.